your huge infrastructure, smart technology, everything is important. But parents today actually are looking at how their child will enter the school and learn to be more creative.
Spend some quality time. Okay, that is very, very important. I know how busy we are in this 2026, you can take it as. But please give them sufficient time. That is very, very important.
For today's parents, choosing a preschool is about much more than proximity or affordability. They are looking for safe environments, caring educators, meaningful learning experiences, transparent communication, and a place where their child feels happy and secure. At the same time, preschools are operating in an extremely competitive landscape where first impressions matter, but long-term trust matters even more. In 2026, parents have access to online reviews, social media, virtual tours, parenting communities, and countless options at their fingertips. So what truly influences a parent's decision to choose a preschool, and more importantly, what makes them stay? Good afternoon and a warm welcome. You're watching Education Today's think tank powered by My School Admission. I'm your host, Nitya Krishnamurthy, and today's panel discussion explores a topic that every preschool leader is thinking about. What makes parents choose and stay with a preschool in 2026? With evolving parent expectations, preschools are no longer evaluated solely on academics. Families today are looking for trust, transparency, emotional well-being, safety, personalized attention, and a genuine involvement in their child's early years. So what does it really take to build lasting relationships with modern parents? To discuss this, we are joined by two respected leaders in early childhood education. Joining us today is Mrs. Swathi Kadur, founder of Medha Bright Beginnings Preschool, Bangalore. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you.
We also have Ms. Komal R. Akula, founder of Ant's Montessori Preschool, Bangalore. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you both for joining us today.
You're welcome.
So to begin with our discussion, Ms. Swathi, if you had just 5 minutes to convince a parent to choose your preschool, what would you talk about first? And what do you believe matters most to families in 2026?
So I think if I had 5 minutes, I would talk about what really matters. Of course, your huge infrastructure, smart technology, everything is important. But parents today actually are looking at how their child will enter the school and learn to be more creative, learn to be more kind, learn to be more resilient, learn to actually go out into the world and not be as lost as we were maybe at that age. So I would talk about the curriculum, I would talk about how we teach differently, I would talk about the experiential learning, multiple intelligences method that we use, so that parents understand that actually preschool, it's not a race, it's a foundation.
Absolutely, that's important. So Ms. Komal, coming to you, parents today often visit multiple schools, compare online reviews, and seek recommendations through social media and parenting groups before making a decision. So how has this changed the way preschools build trust with prospective families?
It's a very good question. Right now in 2026, most of us or most of the parents are looking at the reviews itself. Okay, yeah. They, before getting on to any preschool, they do a ground check. That is first the reviews. Okay. So for us in 2026, I would say our preschool is a 17 years old preschool. Okay. So the trust over here is the number of years, and we are surviving in number of years in the preschool industry. Okay. The trust is over here about the founder. The founder itself is running the show. Okay. That's the trust where most of the parents need these days. And not that, without any experience, the person the other side who's sitting and taking care of the early childhood kids, right? So that is where I am here for them, okay? So that's what I say. The trust is the center head or the founder. That's the main trust they need to get onto any preschool. So apart from that, I would rather say about the infrastructure, the curriculum, what we teach, okay? Basically the foundation, what my friend Swathi was telling over here, the foundation, what we give, that's very important, okay? This is the strong foundation. For any building, 4 pillars is needed as a foundation. The same way I would say, kids need the foundation, the best foundation, what we provide, the best curriculum, the best methodology, that is an integrated pattern which we follow. This is what I would say. And importantly over here is the teachers. The quality teachers is something that they need these days. Okay, and that is the best we can provide.
Right. So, Ms. Swathi, many preschools these days are investing heavily in infrastructure and attractive facilities. But in your experience, what ultimately convinces a parent to enroll? Is it the campus they see or the culture they experience?
Okay, so today when we look at infrastructure, when we look at safety, things like CCTV cameras, security guards, safety around pillars, padding around pillars, all of that is something that is a given, right? All preschools must have that. But what about emotional safety? That's something that I think we should highlight. Parents of 2026 actually keep that into consideration. So it's not about how many CCTV cameras you have in the room, because that is already provided, right? It's more about when their child is crying, does a teacher stop what they're doing, kneel down, look the child in the eye, process the emotions with the child until they're able to teach them how to regulate that emotion that they're feeling, right? That's the kind of safety that parents are looking for today. And that's the kind of safety that we as preschools should actually be providing, because where physical safety, infrastructural safety transforms, right? Emotional safety actually connects.
Right. Building a bond with the child is so important.
Right. Building a bond with the child is so important. And when a child goes home and starts talking to the parent about their day, which we know today's children are extremely, extremely vocal, right? They go home, they talk about their day. They need to, parents will see the kind of stories that they're building around that experience has to do with that human connection that they feel with the teacher, with the helper auntie, with the center head, with the admin.
Right. So, Ms. Komal, you said you've been running a preschool for 17 years.
Yes.
So, I'm sure enrolling a child is one achievement, but retaining that family's trust year after year is another. So, what are the biggest reasons parents choose to stay with the preschool, and what are some of the reasons that instantly make them want to leave?
Okay, so when I would say first make them leave, okay, that is very rarely which I have seen in my preschool. Okay, leaving can be a shift in the location. That's the major I have found over here. So the plus is we have 6 centers, so we shuffle them here and there. Okay, if not, if they are moving out of country or something, that is the retention maximum I have faced. So 1% chances parents look more in infrastructure. Okay, they compare the bigger brands to the normal brands. That is another reason. Okay, so retention, yes, 99%. My school retention is excellent. Okay, yeah, the reason is this phase. I would all the time I say my parents. Okay, any teacher coming in, any teacher can go out in the middle. We can't control them, we can't hold them. Okay, but I, being the founder of ANTS, I have to stay in all centers. That is where I say. So one is the trust, one is a transparency which we provide to the parents. That is the foremost thing. And of course the teachers, experience, the way they are being trained under us. I would rather say my own teachers are taken up as franchisees and running the show. Okay, so that's how our brand is, moving and developing. And they are experienced with us from 16 years. They are there with us from 16 years. So that's the way we take care of them as like a family. Yeah. So that's another reason I can say. And maintaining the good quality, a good, every year we change our curriculum. We keep upgrading our curriculum. So that's another reason I would say for retention.
Right. So, Ms. Swathi, today's parents expect regular updates, photographs, apps, instant responses, and constant communication. And I'm sure all preschools are doing that.
Right.
But what else do you think can help parents connect with preschools better?
Okay, absolutely. See, when you're dealing with 2 parents that are working, and that is the situation for most parents that actually look at putting their children into a preschool as well as a daycare. Right, they're looking at receiving those notifications. They want updates day to day to see how the child is doing, whether they've reached on time, whether they've had their food, etc., etc. But beyond that, when we start connecting with parents through talking about the strengths of their child, right, talking about I have noticed that your child has picked up a certain skill in art class. Right, being able to actually not give generic feedback or remarks about children in the class, but instead actually saying, hey, there is Nabhez in the school and we've noticed that he loves to tumble. he is a kinesthetic child, so maybe we should start looking at gymnastics classes for him. So what ends up happening is, because the child is in the school for that many hours in the day, parents expect to hear unique qualities, anecdotal remarks about their child, which will kind of help them understand their child better, right? Beyond this, I think also offering daycare is very important for working parents now, right? A daycare that has a quality curriculum also involved, right? So they don't just come and are taken care of, but also we help with things like we help with things like Olympiad preparation, we help with homework assistance, we also help children enhance a skill that they're showing interest in, right? For example, when I spoke about the child that has picked up an interest in art, right? Maybe we suggest to the parent that we have the art class in the evenings. Maybe your child should be a part of that as well, because it'll help that child grow that skill, right?
Yes.
So essentially, understanding each child, their unique abilities, as well as their strengths, and where the small gaps are for parents to work on.
Right, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you for that. So, Ms. Komal, trust is often built in small moments rather than big promises. So, can you share an example of a simple practice or policy that has made a significant difference in strengthening relationships with parents?
Trust, yeah. So I would give you an example about what happened in an incident in my school. Okay. So there was an incident like a child has picked up a pomegranates, okay, and put it in the ears, okay. So that was very crucial for us, and I was at home and it was a daycare, and the daycare teacher calls me up and even she was panicked and she said, this is the situation. So I had to trust her because she's there with me from such a long, right? And I had to call the parent immediately, and the parent was in office and she can't rush from there. So I said, I have given a trust to the parent saying that I will take care of the situation, okay? And she did not ask me how, okay? She said, ma'am, please go ahead. I know you will take care. Okay, that is the trust which we have developed from a parent. Okay, and I had to get back and rush that child. I know you would have got something, things like that, right, in your school also. So that's how we had to, move the child to the hospital, get it done, and we had to come back. So that's a trust which I would say rather school should have, right?
Right.
Parent.
These are the times that make you realize.
Yes.
So, I agree with you, and I think one of the things that we follow is a complete open door policy. Right? I think that there is no given point in time where a parent comes into our school and we say, no, we're closed for parents.
Right.
Right? Classes are going on, students are, learning, they're playing, teachers are doing, implementing the curriculum, taking on the classrooms, but parents are allowed to come into the school. Especially during settlement time, I think it becomes very challenging. We have to remember that this is the first time that a parent is dropping off their sometimes 1.5-year-old, 2-year-old, 3-year-old to a school and leaving them for a couple of hours. And all parents want to kind of see is my child settled? Is my child doing well? Right? So having that open door policy, not just for parents to enter the school, but also we encourage and we recommend parents call as many times as possible. We also send, images, especially during the first few months of settlement, where has my child slept? Even before the parent asks the question, we send a picture of the child sleeping. We send a picture of the child eating their food. We send a picture of the child playing with another child. Right? So that's how you build trust. I think that we can have as many words written in a book as possible, but when parents actually experience it through looking at the way the school handles situations, that's when we build the trust.
Right. And also, ma'am, I'd like to ask you, social media today has become such a powerful marketing tool for schools. So do beautiful Instagram feeds and professionally produced videos genuinely influence admissions, or do parents eventually look beyond marketing?
I think that's sometimes a double-edged sword, and sometimes I think it can be a boon, right? Beautifully curated videos, especially for Instagram, of course, will sway parents. I think it sways us as adults when you're looking for something, right? When you're researching on something, it will sway us. But, however, I think there is beyond that in the content that is being shown. Right? So it's not just about making sure that the entire classroom is spick and span clean. It's not just about having someone walk in and say a sentence. It's actually the other content that makes the difference. Seeing them playing, taking part in an activity, seeing them actually building blocks and it falling. Right? Seeing how a child is in their natural environment is actually what does sway parents. And so, to answer your question, the beyond is the kind of content that's actually portrayed on social media.
So I'd like to ask both of you this question. If you had to predict one major shift in parental expectations over the next 5 years, what do you think preschool leaders should start preparing for today? Ms. Komal, could you go please?
I think a better infrastructure, I would rather say. Cozy, more secure, according to the right now 2026 parenting. Okay, that's what I would say.
All right. Ma'am, you?
I think that parents today are looking at not just whether their child can, how well their child can write the alphabet, but they're also looking at how the child is thinking differently. So the kind of questions that they ask, the kind of questions that parents ask today are very different. They ask things like, can my child solve a problem?
Yeah.
How does my child react when he or she is upset? Can my child wait their turn? Right? So we're all talking about those 21st century skills that actually need to be taught, because when you look at the real world and when you look at children that are going out into the world today, academically they're extremely strong.
Yeah.
But the life skills, are they prepared for life? Right. That's actually where that decision comes in for parents. Right. They want to see beyond. So things like we teach children how to fold clothes. We teach them how to make a salad, right? We teach them things like routine. For example, there is a bedtime, an evening chart that we prepare, and there is a morning chart that we prepare and we give to students. So it's basically Velcroed images, right? Of when I get home, I need to put away my shoes. So the Velcro image of the shoes going into its place goes into play, right? So what we're doing is we're training children to understand routine. We're training children to understand why a certain amount of structure, a certain amount of preparation is important for life.
Right. But then what role do parents play in this process? They also need to contribute to this, right?
What we suggest is encourage, right? Each child learns at their own pace. And I think that's the most important thing we as educators as well as parents need to remember, right? They may do only one thing in the chart today. That's okay, right? It's all about routine. It's about reading a book, right? Some children who love books will sit through an entire board book, flip through entire pages and leave the book. Other children, on the other hand, will always, for maybe 15 days, only look at 2 pages.
Yeah.
Both are right. It's just different ways of learning, different ways of appreciating the book. So it's the same thing when it comes to routine. We need to give them time and they'll both eventually get to that finish line.
Right. Ms. Komal, would you like to add to this?
So I would add over here is probably we can give a parenting tips to the parents also, where as Swathi ma'am was mentioning about chart, right? So I think this is a good idea where we can send this chart to home and where they can stick on to one of their plays, cozy plays. The child follows this. So this is the best routine where, for a child it is good, and for a parent to follow this it will be good. Yeah. So I would say rather during that initial settling time, a parenting can be given to the parents. Few tips for them. We can conduct some sessions to them about how to handle these things.
Right.
I think also what parents want to see today is children being independent.
Yes.
Right. I think a lot of times we have noticed that the mollycoddling, it really helps children only to a certain extent, right? So small things like when a child walks into the school, right, they should take off their own shoes and they should place it in the foot rack, right? Instead of parents carrying the bag with them while they carry the child as well, let's get the child to carry their own bag, right? And walk them into school holding a finger, right? Because what that is teaching them is independence, showing them the way, having discussions like, just like mom or dad go to office, they also carry a bag, wear their shoes, right? Leave the house. We're going to do the same thing. You're going to do the same thing because you're getting older.
And do you think there's a lack of independence in children these days as compared to before?
They want to be independent. They're very independent. Not all parents allow them to be independent.
All right.
Yeah.
So what message would you like to give to parents in this regard?
Independence is key, because when you give a child independence, you are allowing them to be creative. You're allowing them to understand routines. You're allowing them to make the right decision or the wrong decision, and also understand consequences through that. Of course, we're not talking about wrong decisions when it has to do with safety, but we're talking about wrong decisions like, maybe I don't want to wear matching socks. Right?
Yeah.
And sometimes that's not a wrong decision. Sometimes that's just a unique choice of the child and their personality is coming out, right? Another so-called wrong decision can probably be that they want to, eat all the paratha and not eat the sabzi that goes with it, right? So it's a wrong decision, but then maybe the consequence of that is they get hungry easy because it's not filling, it's not a full meal, right? So...
And also another thing, ma'am, is kids these days are not able to take a no. They can't accept it. So what do you have to say in this regard?
There's a beautiful video that talks about the biggest vitamin that children need today. Vitamin N, vitamin no.
Vitamin no, yes.
Right? Children are not able to take no for an answer because parents don't always feel comfortable giving no as an answer, because there is, it's not just mom guilt. Working mom guilt, it's working parent guilt.
Exactly.
Right? So what ends up happening is they think, I only have a couple of hours with my child when I pick them up from school and I can spend time with them. Why should I focus on discipline? I'd rather focus on love. But a very important thing to remember is love and discipline go hand in hand.
Absolutely.
And unless we do not equate it, you're going to have problems later on.
Right.
Yeah, very true. Truly said. One more tip I would like to give to parents is spend some quality time. Okay, that is very, very important. I know how busy we are in this 2026, you can take it as, but please give them sufficient time. That is very, very important, right?
I absolutely agree with Komal ma'am here, and I think quality time versus quantity time. Right? A lot of working parent guilt also comes in because parents think that I'm out all day and so therefore I'm not doing enough. But actually that's not true. Even though you're there for just a couple of hours in the evening, taking half an hour out of that time, putting away the gadgets, right, and taking your child for a bicycle ride, right, throwing catch ball with the child, right, cooking something together, something as small as just a sandwich, right, is that quality time that actually children are looking for. So understanding the difference between the two and not letting parent guilt come in the way of how you raise children.
Right.
Exactly.
So screen-free quality time is key for kids these days.
Screen-free quality.
This brings us to the end of today's discussion. A big thank you to both our panelists for sharing such valuable insights and experiences today.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. One message resonates throughout today's conversation. Parents may choose a preschool for many reasons, but they stay because of trust. While infrastructure, curriculum, and facilities certainly matter, it is the everyday experiences, honest communication, nurturing educators, and genuine partnerships that create lasting relationships with families. Going forward, the most successful preschools won't necessarily be those with the biggest campuses or the most impressive marketing campaigns, but the ones that consistently earn the confidence of parents by placing children at the center of every decision. After all, in early childhood education, a parent's trust is not won on the day of admission. It is earned every single day. Thank you for watching Education Today's Think Tank, powered by My School Admission. If you enjoyed this discussion, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more such conversations with leading educators. Also, let us know what matters most to you when choosing a preschool for your child. Share your views in the comments below. Until next time, this is Nitya Krishnamurthy signing off.